Okay, so this is the 0 to 40K spiritual business strategy using a Skool community. This is an objective strategy that works for everybody and guarantees results 100% of the time. That being said, as we go through this is based on an Enneagram. It's an ancient magical symbol that's a complete process. There's going to be certain steps that you're going to be like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. And there's going to be some that you're like, oh, okay, like I could do that. And you're going to be like, do I have to do that? And the answer is yes. It's an objective process, which means that if we go through this Enneagram, we go through this strategy and you do each step, your results are guaranteed. This isn't just another one of those like make money online videos. Like I said, this is an objective process that guarantees results when you follow each step. So first of all, my name is Amanda. I help spiritual coaches build sustainable, sexy income using Skool communities. And I honestly just started my business last year, but I was able to clear $42,000 in my first 6 months. And this is how I did it. So I'm sharing with you what's worked for me and what I've seen work for my clients so that you can take this and go from 0 to 40K in your spiritual business without going bankrupt, because we don't want to do that. And the reason this is so important now is because with this like TikTok ban and all of these other noisy as fuck social media platforms, Skool allows you to own your audience. And this has been the easiest way I have found to create a sustainable business model without needing 52 different platforms to like get your message out there. So Skool really takes the place of, it allows you to do your emails, your videos, your courses, your digital products, your community, your memberships, I'm sure I'm forgetting more things. It's essentially an all-in-one hub for your business. And we're going to go through exactly how to use Skool and this Enneagram strategy in just a minute. Before we dive in, let's understand the 3 types of income that every spiritual entrepreneur needs. This is a holistic business strategy. We're not just building one, we're building 3, because you could eliminate all of the money blocks you have, but if you don't have financial inroads for money to flow to you, it's going to go to somebody who has taken measures to ensure they have those inroads. Like you could manifest all the money in the world, but if you don't have a road for this money to come into your experience, it's not going to come to you. So what we're doing here is building not 1, but 3 money roads for money to come to you. Isn't that great? So the first road that you need for money to come to you is your market. This is your neutral income. Everybody always talks about like left or right or wrong, evil or good, black or white. And the truth is, it's not just 2 forces. It's not yes or no. There's always a neutralizing force. So if all of this, what I'm saying just seems like so crazy, you have no idea what I'm talking about, just hang with me. It's going to make sense. But there's always 3 forces. So these are the triangle points on the Enneagram. So the first, this is point 0 and it's point 9. The market is always your neutral income. These are the people who are following you, who are in your world, who are interested in what it is you have to talk about, but they have not bought yet. They represent potential customers who would buy with the right time, the right urgency, the right offer. So and this is an asset. This is a form of income. This is a money road. Now, just having neutral income, just having an Instagram does not guarantee that money will flow to you. You still need 2 other types, but it is a requirement to build the other 2. If you have no clue what I'm talking about, if you don't have an audience, you don't have active income, and you don't have passive income, then you're going to start by building your audience. Everybody starts right here. This is point 0, and it's also point 9, because as we go around, it ends up here too. So your market is the first type of income. All right. The second type of income that you will build is active income. So active income is where your time is still required to make more money. This is one-on-one clients. Usually when you're just starting out and you have a certain audience size, there are clients in there just waiting for you to sell them something, and they'll raise their hands and they'll come into your business, and you'll get just a big enough cash injection to fool yourself into thinking that this is a sustainable business model, but it's really not. Like, it's really easy to tap your audience out of one-on-one clients. Like, we live in an abundant universe. Like, don't get me wrong, but like one-on-one clients alone are not a sustainable way to build your business, because one-on-one clients are intuitive, meaning they buy when they have the time and the money to do so. And you have a limited number of them in your audience who are ready to buy at any given moment. It doesn't matter how much scarcity and how much urgency and how much, how many countdown timers you use, like that doesn't work on them, because they're intuitive. They're spending a good bit of money. They're usually spending thousands of dollars. So they're going to buy when the time is right for them, as they should, And so it's a hugely important piece of building a holistic business strategy. But if you only have active income, it's not a sustainable strategy. It's not predictable. It's not something you can count on. So the third type of income that every spiritual entrepreneur needs is passive income. Passive income would be like group workshops, like templates, like digital products. It could also be your community. So this is income that you build, you set it up. It takes some time to build, and we do this inside of Empress Academy. This is exactly what I teach you inside of Empress Academy. It's the objective guide to authentic passive income. And so passive income represents where you have had some one-on-one clients, you know what they need, you know what they come to you for, you've started to notice the patterns, and you're like, maybe I could create a workshop around this topic, this conversation that I keep having with my clients, so that I can make this more affordable, more accessible, and easier for people to say yes to. You are duplicating yourself, usually in the form of a video, some kind of recording. You're either doing it on Zoom or Loom or a YouTube video or whatever. You're recording yourself explaining something, teaching something that is of value to your audience, so that you don't have to keep having that same conversation with people one-on-one. Now it's one-to-many. So this would be like recorded workshops, your community membership, digital products. That's what creates sustainability. So when I first started, I just started with one-on-one clients. Everybody was preaching high ticket. And high ticket is great, especially it's got its pros and its cons, especially for beginners. But what I found was it was not reliable. I was coming from a job that I was 100% commission sales, where I was starting over every month. And that was one of the things that was the most stressful about it, because I was always like 1 or 2 deals away from total meltdown or like elation. And it's the same thing in the one-on-one coaching space. You're like always 1 or 2, one-on-one clients away from total business meltdown. And it's one of the shittiest, hardest parts of being a coach, is of being your own boss, is the income roller coaster. It makes it really hard to show up in your business fully and like bring all of yourself to it when you're just so constantly stressed about money. And so what I recognized fairly early on was the need to build recurring income. And that's what I've been able to do with Skool. And the other reason this is so timely right now is because when I first started to sell one-on-one coaching, you would typically, this is what you saw everybody doing, is having a free community and a paid community. Now, Skool has free trials where you can do a 7-day free trial to your paid community. And if you're selling a lower ticket or a low to mid ticket, you can do it with just one community. You don't need a free and a paid. You can just have a paid with a free trial, which I think is really cool. It's really worked out well for me. If you want a free trial, right now I do have it turned on. They're available at skool.com/Amanda. Okay. So if you're a beginner and you're just starting out, as we said, we're starting at point 0. This is building your neutral income. So your assignment is to post, I would say 3 posts a week. And we talk a lot about this in Empress, because depending on your human design type is really gonna dictate your ideal content strategy. We go through like your aura type, your strategy, your authority, your environment, where your best content ideas come from. And one of the things I really like to say to my clients is it's like no forcing and no holding back. So if 3 feels like really like a huge stretch to you and you're a projector or a reflector or a manifester, maybe it's not 3. Maybe it's more. You're really going to have to learn to do this for yourself, but the key is the consistency and just showing up. And I know that it's scary. Trust me, I know. If you want to be your own boss, you're going to have to get around this block sooner or later. So if you're just starting out, step one or step zero, market your neutral income is to post 3 times a week in your zone of genius, in your area of expertise. What should you post about that light you up? Talk about the things that excite you. You can also talk about the elephant in the room. Like, I watched this masterclass with the Budweiser Frogs guys, and they were talking about like the elephant in the room and the importance of addressing the thing that it's like everybody else can see but you. And it's usually hard to identify what your elephant in the room is. I came to the conclusion that my elephant in the room was that I had just started my business last year, and I felt like that was something I shouldn't share. You know, what if people find out that I just started my business last year? They're not going to want to work with me. But really, the more honest and transparent you are with your audience, they can relate to you. And it's actually easier to help somebody who's just a couple steps behind you because you were more recently in their shoes than somebody who's like already scaled to the $1 million mark. And there's so many assets and advantages to being a beginner, to being the underdog. And the more you can embrace it and just be like, yeah, bitch, that's me. That's me. I'm like, this is where I'm at. This is what I do. I've never posted on social media before in my life. I'm just starting out. Like, fucking call it out. Call out the elephant in the room. Every elephant in the room is a paycheck. The more elephants you have, the more money that's there just like waiting for you in your escrow. So an example would be like, instead of just saying, oh, I just did this amazing meditation, you could be like, here are 3 ways to know if you're meditating correctly. So yeah, your first step, your first assignment is to start creating like 3 posts a week in your zone of genius, in your area of expertise, because when you leverage your zone of genius, this is what scales no matter where you go. And when you're just starting out, you're the one who's usually doing everything involved in your business. But if you want to be able to buy things without looking at the price tag, you have to be able to work without looking at the clock. So just allowing yourself to be a beginner, to be where you're at, and just, you know, spend some time looking at the different platforms. If you don't know what platform to post on, you can send me a message. I'll help you. But yeah, picking you and limitations create style. If you know that you hate writing fucking emails, we're not starting with email writing. I knew that about myself. I had this huge block. I'd been in marketing for 10 years. I'd done other people's email lists, and I couldn't fucking get around. I couldn't get with this idea of building an email list. It was like literally such a block. And so what I found that I was able to do is, instead of trying to force myself to do the thing that I knew damn well I wasn't going to do, I started my free Skool community, and that took the place of my email list. And that was something I was able to stick with. That was something I was able to stick with. Now I have it's on Skool. It's called Magnetic Marketing. It's free right now, but I don't think I'm going to keep it free now that we have free trials. So limitations create style. Embrace your limitations. Allow yourself to be where you're at. If you know you really, really want to create YouTube videos and you're really bad at making thumbnails, don't worry about the thumbnails right now. Don't worry about it. You just have to start. Okay. So that's point 0. Point 1 is, what is our intention? So for this model, for this strategy, our intention is to create $40,000 using my gifts. In order to do that, we want to calculate how many clients would I need in order to make this work. So depending on the size of your market will also dictate the price. If you have a very, very small audience, then you're going to be starting with higher ticket offerings because it's just a volume thing. It's very hard to scale to like 500K with like a $9 offer if you've only got 200 people in your audience. Does that make sense? So with this example, I have my calculator here. So let's say we got 50 people paying us $99 a month. So that's $49.50. About $5,000 a month. And the cool thing is this is monthly. This isn't one time. That's a huge difference between one-on-one coaching or active and passive income. And then let's say, so that's $5,000 a month. Let's say we also want to get 2 one-on-one clients for I don't think that makes sense. Well, this is just an example. 2 times 1,000. Okay, so $49.50 and then 2,000. Okay, so let's say we get 2 one-on-one clients a month for $1,000 a month. Let's say you're meeting with them weekly. And then we could have a workshop that sells for, I don't like the way I did that math. Let's say we are selling like a workshop. It's like $100. No, you know what? $59.40 plus 2,000, $79.40, 40,000 divided by 79.40. So okay, in 5 months, selling a $99 a month membership. If you had a $99 a month membership, inside of this membership, you would be offering group coaching calls. You could also have recorded workshops, courses, templates, downloads, and then you could also deliver for your one-on-one clients in there. And I can show you how to do that. That's definitely something we work on in a lot of detail in Empress, but that would get us to our $40,000 mark. And once you've gotten to $40,000, you are able to repeat the process to go from 40 to 500K, because we're building this systematically. We're creating a system for success, because the universe will only give you as much as you can handle. And so if you're only working with one-on-one clients right now and you're already burnt out, or you haven't even started posting on social media and you're already like freaked the fuck out and you aren't going to do it, like the universe can't give you more until you master the level you're at. And one of the reasons I'm teaching this today is because, like, in order to master something, you need to teach it. Like, once you teach it, you master it. And so I'm really learning this from my own experience, from working with my clients with this, and now I want to share it with you to help, bring all the points home. Okay, so, and this is always how the Enneagram works. We always start up here. We go to point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Back to 9. Okay. Now, we are at point 2, which is your lead magnet. So your lead magnet, this is the thing that allows you to get people into your community. So if I were to do this now, my lead magnet, in fact, I do have this. I could show you mine, actually. Why don't I just do that? I have multiples, and in Empress, we're like, this Enneagram is pretty closely to what we do in Empress. So your lead magnet can be on something that you most need to learn or that you most recently learned. So it could be on something that you learned within the past 2 to 4 weeks that totally shifted things for you. And now, if you're asking yourself, do I really have to build a lead magnet? The answer is yes. I slept on this for so long because I couldn't even wrap my mind around how to make content. And I was like, and I couldn't get my mind around the email list thing either. I was like, oh my God, automations, I'm gonna have to email them all the time. What am I gonna do? And I'm telling you, your lead magnet is an opportunity. It teaches you, but it's the first, you're able to lead with value. Now, based on the law of divine compensation, which says that you were born with certain spiritual gifts, and that when you share those gifts with the world, you will be compensated. So, like, you will be compensated. I don't believe in giving your work away for free, but a lead magnet is free, but it's not free because you're exchanging this valuable piece of information for their email list, or for them joining your community, which when they join your community, you also have them on your email list now, because they have to provide their email. They don't have to, but that's how I would set it up, to get their email list. So now you're in charge of the next point of contact. People do not join your community just because you have a community, even if it's free. I've had to learn. They join your community because there's something valuable that they want inside. So here, this is my free community as it looks right now. And I am launching Empress Academy, the complete guide to authentic passive income, using your human design and like Skool communities. And so I have this lead magnet inside my free community That is find your online persona with human design. This probably took a few days to build, a lot of ChatGPT or Claude, and it's valuable. These videos aren't even that long, like 10, 15 minutes. They don't even have to be that long. So you want to think about, what direction are we heading? What's my area of expertise? What's my zone of genius? What could I teach that would be valuable to my audience where they're at? That will, it's also called like a strategic freebie. It basically positions you as working with you as the next logical step in their journey. And the reason you need the freebie, you need the lead magnet, is because it allows them to see that you can help them. It builds trust. People buy from people that they know, like, and trust. People are inundated with so many people selling them things all the time. Why should they buy from you? Your lead magnet answers that question. Are y'all with me so far? And then I've also got this like Start Here course I made. Here's another freebie I made a while ago, this money magnet activation. Yeah. Oh, I have this is another freebie I made, the Rich Bitch Business Audit. You can be creative with this. It doesn't have to be like buttoned up. It just needs to be something that's valuable. And think about like, what's something that people would pay $50 for? When you lead with value and you give away something for free that most people charge for, it instantly positions you as the authority. And so in terms of my lead magnet, another thing that you could do, so right now I have a free community and a paid community. If you, like I said before, we're just starting with a paid community, let's say you started off by charging, I don't know, like $22 a month. I had a client who did this. She got 64 paid clients in like 12 days. And she's just slowly and steadily raising the price. So what you could do if you don't want to build an email automation, or you don't have an email list yet, you could put the lead magnet, the free thing, inside of your paid community, but have the 7-day free trial turned on. So where is it? So you see this inside of your Skool community. Right now it's free. If you go to your settings and pricing, I can say give people a 7-day free trial. Now I can have one community and I can have my lead magnet inside of it for free. Now this is a low cost, simple way to do it. I definitely would recommend building your email list sooner or later. Do I have this open on 2 screens? Building your email list sooner or later, but this just allows you to get started, and you're starting to build your email list, you're starting to build trust, you're leading with value, you're showing people that you can help them by actually helping them. Because this was a big problem I noticed with my clients, especially that were just starting out, is in order to sell one-on-one coaching, which is usually like thousands of dollars, you need sales calls. And the way that Skool is set up, you would need a free community and a paid community. And now, because of the free trials, you can just do a paid community with a free trial, and you don't have to do sales calls. And it allows you to build your confidence, build trust, and start slowly and steadily building and increasing your recurring monthly revenue without 2 communities, without needing a huge email list, without needing a huge audience. And so, yeah, you come up with something like, what's something I can give away for free that someone else would charge at least $50 for, and you just make it. Other ideas for free things are workshops, masterclasses, webinars, checklists, templates. It could be really simple. I think the first freebie I made was that, I don't even have it anymore, but I have that Find Your Online Persona with Human Design. That's one I did over last summer that's worked really well for me. Okay. If all of this sounds so overwhelming, understand that you have absolutely learned something in the past month that changed your life that you could teach to somebody else. You will not graduate to the next step until you bring someone else to the level you are at. You don't need someone else to graduate you. You can graduate yourself by teaching other people what you have learned. And the reason why I'm obsessed with doing this inside a Skool community is because you can hit all of these points in the same place. So you come up with your idea of what you are going to teach, what you're going to give away for free, and you do the thing that you most need to learn, or the thing that you learned in the past month that totally changed your life. And the reason that the buyer is next, so before we get into this, there's 3 types of income, okay? Active, passive, neutral. And there are also 3 different types of flow states. Flow isn't just when you're working. You could also be in a state of flow when you're cleaning the house, when you're listening to a podcast, going for a walk. And the third force is usually the forgotten force. So people always think about buyer and seller, but then people, when they say like this war on drugs is like, oh God, it's just so fucked up. What they're not taking into account is the market. Like the reason that this war on drugs has been going on and will go on forever is because there is a market for what they're selling. You cannot get rid of just the selling or the buying. You can't get rid of these 2 things without getting rid of the market. Like if there is still a market of people who want the thing that is being sold, it will always be sold no matter what. No matter what, okay? And so in terms of flow state, you have active time where you are actively outputting based on what you know. You have neutral, let's go to passive. You have active time where you're actively creating something, an email, a podcast, a YouTube video, a presentation based on things you know. Then you have passive flow where you are consuming information to learn something that you don't know. So I know I wanted to create this on the Enneagram, the 0 to 40K business strategy. So I'm listening to other things about the Enneagram in school, learning the things that I needed to know in order to make this video really good. The forgotten force or the forgotten flow state is neutral time. So neutral time is so important, and I struggled with this so much. It's where nothing is going in and nothing is coming out. You can be in neutral time without sitting and meditating in a cave as like a Buddhist monk. Like I love meditation, but it's not always possible to do. You can just go for a walk if you're not listening to a podcast, or just be cleaning your house when you're not listening to something else. And when you're in neutral time, you're able to receive ideas and receive information that you don't know and you couldn't learn from somebody else. So ideally, 33% of your time would be in neutral time, 33% would be in active flow, and 30% of the time you'd be in passive flow. Passive is you're listening to something. Active is you're outputting something based on what you know. And neutral is where nothing's coming in and nothing's going out. So we've talked about the lead magnet. Now we're talking about the buyer. And it always starts with the buyer because we're doing all of this with the buyer in mind. Like none of this exists without the customer. Without a customer, none of this other stuff is possible. We mean without any of these, nothing else is possible. But these are the triangle points, are 0/9, 3, and 6. Sorry. Took me a second there. So you've created this thing that is valuable, that you want to share with the world. Now it's your turn to start shouting from the rooftops of what you have created. You can put it at the end of your emails. You can put it on at the end of all of your posts. You could just put $100 into doing some ads and let people know, hey, I created this rich bitch business audit, spend $100, get maybe 100 people on your email list, and you're starting to build your list. You're starting to build a list of people who are interested in what you do, who can buy from you. Without sales, none of this other stuff is possible. Nothing else is possible. When we're talking about passive income, you're taking something that is active and you're setting it passive. So we've got our market, then we've got our seller, which is us, active income, which is like one-on-one coaching. And you're taking the things that you're working with people, or that it could even be like in your job, something that you've learned that you are right now, your active time is required in order to make money from it, and you're setting it passive. It always goes market, active, passive, market, active, passive, and you're setting it passive. And we do this with the buyer in mind. And without the buyer, nothing else we do matters. And the triangle points are where most people get stuck. So the buyer, people go, oh God, people think it's annoying to sell. I can't sell. It's hard. It's hard. Like sales isn't spiritual. Like shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. None of this is possible without a buyer, without somebody who wants to buy what you have. And there are so many people already in your audience who would buy from you in the right situation. If you think that selling is like negative or it's not good or it's icky, you need to start following all of the people who are selling on their social media all the time. Because if you think the Kardashians are, like you get the ick, that means you're jealous, you're resentful. There's part of you that resents what they have because part of you knows that you should be doing something that they're doing that you haven't yet got your mind around. Nobody's going to sell it for you. And anybody who tries to convince you that their needs are more important than yours when it comes to you supporting yourself in your spiritual business isn't a real friend anyways. They're not a real friend anyways. So if you can't create the discipline to sell, then you need to work for somebody else who can. If you can't have the discipline to focus on the things that need to be done in your business, you're going to always have to work for somebody else who has the discipline, who is willing to sell, who's willing to do the uncomfortable things that you just feel like you can't. Because I promise you, you can. So when we're talking about building a spiritual business, every time you go and pick up a spiritual book from now on, the rule is you need to pick up a business book, because spiritual coach, I will see it all the time. They will spend a year fucking around on their website when that time would have been better spent figuring out how to get people to this website. It's so easy to go behind the curtain and just like make shit and then perfect it to, oh my God, my mom does this so much. Like she's just constantly doing things. I'm like a marketing coach. I'm like, I'll try to help her. And she has spent a year listening to pieces of what I have told her, but not actually doing the work. So she's been like working on building her email list, but like there's not enough eyes on her offer. And you could go spend all of this money on ads, but if you don't have a follow-up strategy to turn those leads into buyers, it is wasted money. It's a very expensive lesson to learn. And some people just have to learn it themselves. They just have to learn it themselves. So we've got our lead magnet. We've talked about buyer or passive income. This is where we're taking our active income, our active time, what I'm doing with my one-on-one clients, and I'm setting it passive. I'm setting it passive. I am duplicating myself in the form of a video to have the conversation I don't want to have anymore, or the resource, or the download, or the checklist. My live time is no longer required to get more income. And what Skool does really well here is you just create a price for your Skool community, and now you started creating passive income. And the big myth around passive income is that it doesn't require any time. Like there's no such thing as something that's like 100% passive. And passive income takes a while to build, but it only gets stronger over time, and it only grows every time you do a circle around this wheel. And this is what Empress Academy is all about. You're also, researching your buyer. You're also figuring out like, what do they want? What are they struggling with? And here's a hack is instead of asking somebody what they're struggling with, especially women have this huge problem in like admitting we're struggling. It's like, oh my God, no, I can't, I'll go to the grocery store and I will never fucking ask for help ever. I'm like, I'm gonna find this myself. And you're like, that's such a huge block, because if I just like asked, Carlos over here, I'm like, hey, where's the locks or whatever, he would show me. But I'm like over here trying to figure it all out myself. So don't ask women what they're struggling with. Don't ask anybody what they're struggling with. You can ask them, if I could wave a magic wand anywhere in your life, where would I wave it? Or anywhere in your business, where would I wave it and what would it do? Or how can God bless you today? How can the gods bless you today? When you ask people questions like that are designed to get you the answers that you need to hear in order to create your business, your product, your offer, your lead magnet, the responses you're going to get are going to be so much better. So much better. So in terms of a Skool community, you could start out, I would say like you don't want to charge anything less than $22 a month. And then you can go up to, I've seen communities selling for $9.97 a month. It just depends how much like done for you work is included and your area of expertise, like what you bring to the table. So I'd say for the most part, everybody could start off charging $22 a month, and then you can raise it slowly over time. So like every 10 people, you're like, the price is going to go up. And what you're able to do now is you have this lead magnet, you have this thing that you're offering inside of your community for free during the 7-day trial. And then after that, it's like $22 a month, or I don't know, $200 a year. I haven't done the math on it. And it just keeps going up every time. So that's your passive income. That's how we're building passive. And so it depends how much of your lifetime is included too. You can do weekly group coaching calls, or you could come up with a concept for a workshop. We're going to talk about this here in a bit. And also we go through how to create your own method using the Enneagram and Empress. But what was I going to say about this? You could go up to 99 or 300 or 500 a month. It just depends what's included. And I think what I would recommend, you could either do $22 a month, if it's just including, you could have like weekly calls, some downloads, some resources that are all like already available in there. And you could go up to like $299 a month if you did weekly coaching calls. And you could also include one-on-one coaching in your price for your school. So that would allow you to kill two birds with one stone. Let's say you get a 7-day free trial. Our community is $100 a month, and it also includes a one-on-one every month. Or it really depends on where you're at in your journey, how many clients you've worked with, if you've worked with any clients. And so I always recommend starting low, and you can just raise it over time. One thing I've seen with Skool, like there's a competition every month called the Skool Games to see who can grow their community the most in monthly recurring revenue within 30 days. The winners who have won the Skool Games with a high ticket offer, meaning like thousands of dollars, you can win it one time, but then the next month they just fall completely off because there's so much work involved in one-on-one client work, and it's really hard to sustain that, especially as a solopreneur, and especially if you've got a spiritual business doing something like tarot cards, human design, Reiki, whatever. Like you're probably not doing a high ticket school community, I wouldn't think. But when you start off with a low ticket community and raise it periodically, it just continues to grow. And now your income isn't so reliant on 1 or 2 clients. You've got 100 clients. Like I have a client right now, I told you about her. She got from 0 to 72 members in like 2 weeks. I have another who started her community. She had a big audience on TikTok. Another reason you need your community. And she has created the community. She went live one time on TikTok, got 4 paid members her first time going live, like within an hour. It's just so easy to build. You've really eliminated the bar to entry when you have a free thing that's available inside your community during the 7-day free trial. And then this is like a little hack for you, is have a really sexy thing that they really want unlock on day 8. So that sexy thing could be a one-on-one with you. It could be a social media audit. It could be anything that incentivizes them to stay inside the community that they get once they have paid for it, because it's a 7-day trial. So on day 8. So what we did with one of my clients is she helps immigrants get better jobs in the US. And so her free trial content was like, what are your values? What's your list? What's your, non-negotiables in a company? And then on day 8, she did a one-on-one, she made their resume for them. So that was something that they really wanted. And she was able to do this at a much lower price than she could with one-on-one clients because her live time wasn't required for all the other stuff. Okay. So we've talked about passive income. Now, the next one is, this is point 4, limitations. Limitations create style. We talked about this before, but one of the biggest limitations is like, I've never done this before. I don't know what to teach. And you're also starting to research your customer limitations. So what are their what kind of things do they buy? How much time and how much money do they have to go towards solving this problem, or to go towards this thing that you provide? Because you are not going to make it by just raising your prices every time you want to make more money. If you're like, oh, it's $5,000, like, fuck it, whatever. And like your audience can barely afford 100, and your customers are always a reflection of you. So if you have not personally invested the amount of money that you want to charge in your own industry, your customers aren't either. I had a client, she wanted to charge $5,000 for her high ticket program. And I said, have you ever invested $5,000 in a coach? And she said, no, and nobody had bought from her in over a year. Or they had never bought from her, and it had been a year that she was trying to sell this thing. If you're not willing to do it, how can you expect your customers to be willing to do that? It's just not an integrity. So I've invested so much money in coaching and courses, and that's kind of why I've taken the attraction formula in this direction of going towards a more like monthly recurring model that's more accessible. Because when you're doing one-on-one high ticket clients, first of all, it requires your time, and not all people are advanced enough in their business to take full advantage of what you're offering, and the price is restrictive, it's prohibitive. And because I've invested so much money in coaching and courses and didn't really feel like I got my money's worth, I'm like, I don't want my clients to feel that way. I want this to be a no-brainer. And I also don't believe that you should have to sign long-term high-ticket coaching contract. All these business coaches are like, oh yeah, it's $5,000 a month and we'll meet every week. And it's like, I don't really know who needs all that, honestly. And then it's like, I don't care, I don't care if it's working for you. I don't care if you're getting results. I don't care if you're getting the value from this. And I honestly don't even care what kind of position I'm putting you in. Like, I just got to get paid. Like, I'm just not fucking with that life. So because of my own experience and my own limitations in investing in coaching and courses and programs, I was like, I'm not going to fucking do this to my people. I'm just not. I am not. I want it to be a no-brainer for them to come in, to stay, to get the value, to come in, because that's my job as a teacher. It's my job to shorten the time between where you are and where you want to be. You're buying my mistakes. So my customers' limitations are they haven't done this before. They don't know how to do it. So it's my job to make it as simple as possible to getting them that result. Another big obstacle they have are like sales calls and just selling in general. But I can just tell you, like, if you can't get your mind around the fact that you need people to buy what you do in order to go full-time in your business and to support yourself, you're never going to make it. You just have to fucking do it. You have to do it. It has to be done. But you can get around these customer limitations by making things that would have been so valuable to you. Like, what do you wish someone would have told you when you were just starting out? Or what do you wish you had had? And what I realized was, in my first community I had joined on Skool that taught me how to do all of this, it had weekly group coaching calls, but it also, I got one-on-one time with him, which was so valuable. And that was probably the best investment I ever made in my business that allowed me to go full-time online within 90 days. And so I was like, how can I replicate this, but make it even better? So because of my own limitations, because I wasn't sure, what all should be included, I started off with just one-on-one clients, and then I just built my monthly recurring over time. And I knew I didn't want to charge fucking $3,500 a month for coaching. I was just like, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. So I was like, how can I make this as simple, as seamless, as step by step as possible to help my clients get results? Their limitations are like, I don't know how to do the tech. I don't know what to talk about. I don't know how to set it up. And so when I found Skool, and I was like, oh, this is actually a really easy way to go about this, I just went all in on the platform. Okay. And one of the best ways to figure out the limitations are, I call this a feedback post. I actually have a structure and format for this inside of the attraction formula that is very simple. It's so simple. And most people won't do it. And this is why you end up creating products that nobody wants, because you didn't actually research them in the first place. And I know how you feel, because I didn't want to do these either. But the more I did them, and I'm especially like as a 4-6, I think it just really, really helped bring all of this home for me, is you create a post, you put it on your Instagram. It's just like, I'm looking for 15 people to give me honest feedback on my offer, whatever your offer is. It's 15 minutes, free, obviously, and you're literally just asking for their feedback. You're not asking for bullshit. You're not asking for validation. You're not asking for them to be like, oh, it's so good. Like, you want their honest feedback. So the goal is you want to ask open-ended questions. Just let them talk. And the way that you do this, the way that I teach it in Empress, is I have you create a 1-page document, a Google document. We use ChatGPT to do this. It takes like fucking 20 minutes. It's so cool. But it's got your offer on it. And here, I'll show you mine. And you basically set up these calls with people, and no, it's here. You set up these calls with people, and you just go through this document with them, and you're like, what do you think? Here, I'll show you the one for Empress. So here's my document. I created this using the prompts that I have inside my Skool community, inside the Badass Offer. And I go through it with them. I'm like, okay, so are you achieving freedom, authenticity, and consistency, creating recurring revenue, and scaling your business authentically? The number one root problem is lack of clarity, structure, aligned strategies to scale without burnout, using human design, NLP sales techniques to help clients get results. The 3 reasons why soulful female entrepreneurs struggle is like perfection paralysis, unpredictable revenue, misaligned strategies. Here's the promise. You show them the investment. This is an ongoing membership, monthly coaching community. And it includes everything that's in the attraction. Like, you literally just go through this document with them. It could not be easier. It could not be easier. And you're like, so what do you think? What's missing? Would you add anything to this? I'll just show you how we do it inside here. It's so simple. So inside this offer so good, there's these prompts that I've made that you just copy and paste into ChatGPT, and that's what allowed me to create that document in like 20 minutes. Okay? So I would say the more research calls you do, the better. You're going to get such good limitations. You're going to learn so much. And this is how you ensure that you do not build something that isn't valuable, that people don't want. And when you're just starting out, there's a lot of guesswork. There's so much you don't know, so you do your best, but doing these market research calls is going to save you so much time and energy and money. And then at the end of the call, you're like, okay, so when I launch this thing, do you want me to let you know? That's it. That's how you find out. They will tell you. I was tripping out about what lead magnet to make when I made that Find Your Online Persona with Human Design. I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do it on. So I'd ask my coach at the time. I'm like, I don't know what to make of my lead magnet. He's like, just ask your customers, ask your clients. So I created a poll post inside of Magnetic Marketing, and I said, hey, here are 3 ideas I have for a lead magnet. Which one would be the most valuable? And they told me, Find Your Online Persona with Human Design. And that's what I made. And it was one of my best performing lead magnets. They always have the answers. Your customers have the answers. They do. And this is also something we do inside of Empress. I have a customer avatar worksheet, but just getting one customer on the phone is going to help you so much in everything else you do in your business. Now your marketing is going to be like, shit, how did she know? How did she figure this out? Like, how did she know these things? It's like, she's literally in my mind. And it's because you took the time, because you're a fucking professional who's dedicated to getting your clients results. And so you took the time to learn about them. And really, like, you on these calls, like, you should be doing no more than 20% of the talking. I know I'm talking a lot here, but on these calls, I don't talk a lot. And I actually have a customer avatar worksheet, like, of what to talk about on the market research calls. Oh, did I just get paid? That's the best sound in the world. Did y'all hear that? So cool. On these calls, and I have to go through what questions to ask. It's a Google sheet that's like, these are the questions, and then there's space for notes. So if you want that, you can just let me know. You send me an email. It's Amanda@fireyourbosfast.com. Yeah. Okay. Customer limitations. Now we go into building out our core offer and our community structure. So This is where we do our tech stack, building out the community. This is the analogy I give is like front of house, back of house. Like there's the things that you need that are customer facing that you get all together, and then back of house. So your core offer here is always going to be, when you're just starting out, to build out this active income offer. Active income is always where you are trading time for money. This is your one-on-one offers. That document I just showed you, I have another one for my one-on-one clients that I created the same way. It's just, obviously it's a different offer, it's a different price point, but that's an example of the offer. So front of house would be like your member onboarding process, your content delivery schedule, like how often are you going to be posting in the community? What are you going to be posting about? How are you going to structure your live sessions? This would also be into setting up your Skool settings. So let me show you that. Nope. So this would be, and I actually have another whole training on how to set up your Skool community. So I'm just going with you through this very quickly. But you would kind of just go down this checklist, and you would set up. You put your group description, like what categories are you going to do? In my community, we have general discussion, gems, Q&A, wins, announcements. If you're just starting out, you've got the classroom. This is where all of your courses go. And you've also got the calendar where you add your calls to the calendar. So this is like your Zoom calls. So you would be setting all of this up. Another thing you would be doing is your about page. And so Skool actually has this they have the highest converting landing page or sales page out of any of the other comparable products in the market. So like Kajabi, Thrivecart, Thinkific, like your Skool's about page. This is your landing page. This is your sales page. This is the page. You get 1,000 characters or less here of copy. And I have prompts to help you do this and make it look pretty with like emojis and everything. I need to update this one. So you have 1,000 characters to let people know it's essentially like, who is this for? What are they going to get? Benefit. You're focusing on benefits over features. So it's less important. Like you get 4 calls with me every week at Tuesdays and Thursdays, 2:30. Like that's less important than like why. How does that benefit them? You get a 24/7 access to a private community so that you can continue to make those 1-degree shifts in your business every day and see the needle moving in your business, like focusing on benefits. You also want to have your testimonials. You can have photos here. You can have a video, like a video sales letter. And I would also include some testimonials. I'll show you mine for attraction formula. It just looks like this. So I have my VSL. This is my copy with the emojis, and I have a prompt that actually helps you do this. If you want that, just let me know. I've got my wins. What else will we be doing here? You're going to want to have your Stripe set up, your contract if you're doing one-on-one. So I can show you what I have in the attraction formula again. So I've got inside my classroom, and that's another thing Skool has you do is automate all of this. So I have them add the calls to the calendar. I have this assessment that I have all of my clients take when they join. Like here's the link for that. I definitely recommend having an assessment because the more data you have, the better. And so that's a program I use called Score app. I've got the agreement here. So these are all like back of housekeeping things that you would want to have in place before going live in your community. Again, like we're building out the community structure. Active income is where you're trading your time for money. So you're thinking about like, what workshops am I going to do? Is it going to be just like weekly group coaching calls, like where there's going to be hot seat coaching, or am I going to be covering a topic that I can then bring people to? And if you're interested in creating passive income with a Skool community, this is exactly what we're doing in Empress. So essentially what you're doing, we're talking about building out your core offer, is like, okay, what is my method? What do I want to bring people through? And you're essentially getting paid to record this workshop. So you outline the workshop, and I teach you how to do that using this Enneagram so that you have your own method for your clients. And then you invite people to come to join, because you can always charge more for a live workshop that has your live time involved. So it starts, see how it starts as active income because you're recording it with them live. And I always recommend, I've learned this the hard way. I'm such a 4-6, but that it's so easy to go behind the velvet curtain and make a whole course and feel like you've done something only to find out that you made something people didn't really want. Or maybe they did want it, but because you hadn't involved them in the process of the building of it, they just weren't interested by the time you were ready to launch. So you're building out your core offer. This could be a group workshop that you record live that you then are able to turn into passive income. But we're starting with a group workshop, or this could be a one-on-one offer. If you're just starting out, it'll be a one-on-one offer. So the pieces you would need for that are like, yeah, your agreement, your onboarding form, you have to have a way to accept payments. Again, you are able to do all of this through Skool. Skool does the payments for you, but you would need to have your Stripe set up so that you can get paid. What else? Your pricing is going to be based on your customer limitations, what you've talked about that with them here. I have been able to build my, 5-figure monthly coaching business with Skool, Loom, and Zoom. Zoom is $15 a month. Loom is like a freemium thing. That's how I'm recording this video. It's $5. It's free for recordings of up to 5 minutes. And it's so cool because you're able to get the transcript that then you can turn into emails and stuff, but I won't get into that. And it's $15 a month if you want to make longer videos. So if you're making longer walkthroughs, longer videos, then you can have the free version. And then Skool is $99 a month. You get a 14-day free trial, and then it's $99 a month per community, this is another thing that's cool now that they have free trials, is you can just have one community, one $99 thing. So yeah, this is setting up your community, getting ready, having the front of house ready and the back of house. And our, like a kitchen or a restaurant example, you'd have like all the food would be ready. Everything would be like mise en place. Like all this stuff is cut. Everything's out. It's ready to go. You've got your front of house set up. So the hostess is there. The waiters are there. The tables are there. The tables are set. Like everything is ready to go. We're getting everything ready for the customer. This point 5 just takes a long time. It doesn't matter where you are, like what you're doing, like to get all of this ready for the customers to come in. It's a process. So especially if you're doing, it used to be more complicated than it was if you're doing a group workshop, because you would need a way to deliver the workshop and get paid and make sure they get access right away. Now in Skool, it's like we've set our price for the community, and now they come in and they get instant access to the workshop. It's all automated. So you would also want to be thinking about like, what's your sales process here? How are people going to go from, stranger or customer to actually buying from you, whether this is DM, sales calls, it could be ads, it could be outreach, it could be posting in other Skool communities, but you just need to know all of the different pieces of tech that you're going to be using in order to like exchange the dollars for what it is you're offering here. And Skool allows you to do it all under that umbrella. I use Skool, Loom, and Zoom. Like I said, we already talked about the about page, tech stack, front of house, back of house. Yeah. So now it's time for you to become the seller, selling your this is creating active income. It's easier over here because you have something free. You're selling them on the free trial, which is so much, you're still selling if you're giving something away for free, but now the pressure's on where you're actually becoming the seller, and it's time to trade the dollars for what you do. Okay. This is really simple. It's just like, what do I do? Who do I help? How do I help them? You're letting people know you have something for sale. There is something for sale here. I can help you. This is something I know how to do. I've done this before. Are you struggling with this? You're really embodying that seller to like, now it's time to make some money. So now I can start talking to my market and being like, look, you guys have seen me blow up on Skool. You've seen me work with all of these different clients. I'm getting them results. Like I can help you with it too. Like there are people in your audience who are just watching you. They're just waiting for you to show up and sell them something. You'd be so surprised. And like the more you show up and sell, you have all this fear that people are like, oh my God, they're going to think I'm salesy. It's going to be icky. And it's like, that's not even true. I have so many people in my audience who I've known for years that I didn't think could care less about what I did. And you know what they start saying is like, oh my God, Amanda, you're crushing it. You're killing it. I see you. You're just fucking doing it. Like, this is so cool. I'm so excited. Like, they're really into it. They love it. These people are here for you. They're here for what you have to offer. They would not be in your audience otherwise. And now you've got everything set up in order to accept the customer. Now it's time to shine, baby. You can also just be like, look, I've got 2 spots open for one-on-one coaching. Here's my availability. Like, this doesn't have to be hard. It really doesn't have to be hard. And especially with the free trial thing. Okay, so we've gone through this. Now it's time to launch. This is where you're really just like celebrating how far you've come, all the work you've put in. And I'll just tell you this right now. It is not going to turn out the way that you thought it would, especially in your first year of business. Like I said, if you want to be able to buy things without, looking at the price, you got to be able to work without looking at the clock. There's going to be so many things that you try that don't work out. And like, that's okay, but it's always going to work out. And it's totally normal when you're going through a launch, especially when you're doing a live launch where it's like, okay, the cart is open, like you can buy from this time to this time. Let's say you're launching for like a month. It's totally normal for nobody to buy until the last like 24 hours. And then right when you close the cart, the 24 hours after that, because people want what they can't have. So the launch is just like, you're celebrating how far you've come. You're just like, now, like, this is the line of surrender. You've done all of your part. You've done everything you can do to be ready to receive the customers, to set up your tech. You've done your market research. You've set your pricing. You've created your lead magnet. You're starting to build your list, your free community. You know how many clients you would need in order to reach your goal. And now it's just like, you got to let the launch. And this is something we work on a lot in Empress, of like how to launch your first group workshop. And we go through all of this in a ton of detail. And you just need to know that. You need to go into this with a marathon mindset of like, you know what? I'm going to give it every fucking thing I have, and I am going to let the universe show up and do the rest. You're going to do your part. You're not going to ask like, oh, show me what to do. You're going to say, show me who you may have me serve. Show me how to attract my next 12 clients. Show me how to make this email list fun. You're going to ask to be shown like specific things, and you will be shown. And then you are going to leave it up to, you're going to surrender the outcome. Surrender is an active process where you're actively detached. You've done everything you can do, and now you let the launch. And it's just important for you to know that, like, that's just how it's going to be. And just decide that you are going to work this until it becomes successful. Just fucking decide that you're going to be doing this until it works. And know that every time you go through this thing, it's just going to get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. It's an objective process that guarantees results when you go through them in this order. Another thing that Enneagram has really given me is like acceptance over like, you are never behind. It's literally impossible to be behind. You are exactly where you need to be. You are always moving forward. You can just be like, I'm ready. Please show me the next step and show me the way. I'm ready for the next step. Please show me the way. I'm ready for the next step. Please show me the way. And you will always be shown. This isn't like, can I be successful? It's like, how can I make something successful? Because things don't just like get successful. They are made successful. And this is how you engineer your success from the very beginning, because you might be able to succeed by accident for a little while, but you won't be able to replicate it. This allows you to replicate it, to get it stronger every time. You can engineer things to be successful. And the way that you make things successful is just knowing all of the factors that are required in order for something to be successful. And that's exactly what this is. Intelligence is knowing where you are. You will always know where you are and what comes next when you use this process. Now, there's a way to turn every single no into a yes. And this is something I'm getting better and better at. And all you have to do in order to turn a no to a yes is swap your perspective on criticism. So when you've gone through this whole circle and you've launched and there are people that you've been talking to that have been in your DMs that are commenting on your stuff, like you're asking them, okay, so why didn't you buy? You're asking for feedback. This is data and retention. Okay. So you want to get feedback from the current customers, the people who went into it with you, ask them what they would like next, what they're, what really worked for them, what didn't work for them. You're also going to talk to the people who didn't buy. And the way that you turn every no into a yes is what you're going to find when you ask people this question is they're either going to say, I didn't have the time, I didn't have the money, I didn't understand what it was. And that's how this gets stronger every time you go through it, because now you're getting all of this data and this feedback about what it is. Like either it was too expensive, they didn't have the time, or they didn't understand what it was. You might not have necessarily understood what it was, especially your first time around. But now that you've gone through this whole process, you sure as shit know a lot more about it than you did when you started out. And so if they're like, well, I didn't have the time, so you can make something with a lower time commitment. If they say they don't have the money, you can make something with a lower dollar amount. And what's interesting is if you're having like sales calls for one-on-one clients, they might say no to a $5,000 coaching program, but they would probably, once you've done all that for them and you provided value on the sales call, you just had a genuinely curious, genuine connection with somebody, they want to reciprocate. It's the law of reciprocation. Like people want to give back. So if you ask them, like after you've provided them all this value, which you've been doing in your content, in your email list, in your community, in your offers, you can ask them for their feedback. And if they didn't buy because it was too expensive, you're like, okay, so instead of 5,000, what about like $299? 99% of the time, they're going to say yes. They're going to say yes. They want to give back to you. If you're showing up with an open heart and you're fucking doing the damn thing and they see you showing up and they see you doing this thing, like people have respect for that. They have respect for that. And you can ask them why they didn't and turn the no into a yes. This is also a great time to start planting seeds for your next round. For the next time you go around this, if you want to do a different workshop, you're starting to pick up the little clues that your customers or your market is leaving about what they would like to learn from you next. And this is how this process gets stronger and stronger. And what you can do is you have a Skool community. This allows you to not have a website. You just have a community where you're delivering all of your stuff, and you can have multiple workshops for sale inside the community. So you're not continuing to sell the same thing all the time. And that's what I had to decide to do, because now I call it the attraction formula, but I'm live launching Empress right now. And once I get done with Empress, I'm sure it'll be something else, but it allows you to mix things up and to go through it with a live launch, bringing your customers through it with you, which makes it so much more valuable because you're actively involved in the process. And then you learn so much from that. You can either do that same workshop again a little bit down the road. You could go right back into it again, or you could make a completely different workshop. But now you've got all of these things in place in order to make that next launch successful. And if you've provided a good experience to your customers in this round, then they're going to want to come back for more. This is like customer lifetime value. This is learning the lifetime value of a customer, because the most expensive customer to get is the new customer. Once you have a customer, how can you show the fuck up and over deliver and make sure this is your best work? Not perfect, but your best. It's always it's like good, better, best. Never let it rest until my good is better and the best is best. And you just keep getting better every time. We're not going for perfection because that doesn't fucking exist. We're going for excellence, because excellence is attainable and it's dependent on where you are in the journey. And that's what we're doing at this point. So we're making sure we're keeping those lines of communication open with our customers to find out like what worked, what didn't, what would they like to see next time. And then for the people, why didn't you buy? Too expensive, not enough time, you weren't sure what it was. And then you can do it better next time. And here's where you can start planting the seeds of what your next workshop is going to be, what you're going to be doing next. You provide an amazing experience through this and working with them, they're going to come back for more. And if they say they didn't buy because it was too expensive, that's always amazing, because that means you can make it into a workshop. If this was like a one-on-one offer that somebody said no to, now it turns into a passive product, which you're like, oh, $40, like that's nothing. But like, that's how you scale. That's how you build your legacy. And it's easier because you build the passive, you turn it into a passive. If they said no to a one-on-one offer, you can make it cheaper by removing your live time from it. And the way that you get really fucking good at this is become a fucking Rottweiler gatekeeper of your mind and of your energy, because The most important commodities you have are your time, your energy, and your peace. Do not just offer these up to people who don't fucking care about you, who don't see the vision that you have for your life, who don't value your time. And so that's what allows you to create these passive offers from your active time and turn them passive and scale it to the moon. Everybody's like, oh, $22 a month ain't shit. Like, talk to Netflix about that. Built $1 billion business on $22 a month. And if you're going through this for the first time with a group workshop, it's going to have to require your live time because you're going to have to record the calls, but that's how you get paid to record your workshops. That's how you get paid to record your workshops. And then you can go through and you can turn that passive. You only had to record it once and you can sell it over and over and over again. So if you're interested in using the Enneagram to map out your own product and create your passive income using Skool right now in Empress, the first 12 signups are going to be case studies, which means I'm going to be working with you. Like, you're going to have my attention on you inside the workshop, but also you're going to get a monthly one-on-one with me, which is just insane because I want to make sure that you're getting results, because the only way I'm going to be able to set this passive is if you guys have the best experience ever. And so right now, for a limited time, the first 12 are case studies. You can go there, get a 7-day free trial. You can try everything for free. I love the trial thing because it's like, I'm not asking you to make a decision today. And this is what you say to your customers. I'm asking you to make an informed decision. And the only way that you can do that is from inside the container. There's literally nothing to lose. You get a 7-day trial, try before you buy, because I want you to want to be here. I want you to be excited about this. And what's cool about Empress is, like, we're going to go through this together and you're going to be learning a little piece of human design at each step that you're going to be able to implement right away and see results in your business, because I believe that spirituality should be easy to understand, simple to apply, and give you results that you feel right away. I'm like, no bullshit. And like, if you're not willing to do the work, like, fucking go somewhere else. Like, just go. Because at every single step, we're going to be going through this, like, step-by-step strategic process. There's going to be homework that I'm going to be checking. I'm going to make sure that you're doing this. So this isn't some, like, other community or agency where it's like, I just take your money and never see you again. Like, I have absolutely no interest in that. None. At all. And you're not done with the lessons. You're not done with that step when you finish watching the video. You're done with the step when the homework has been completed and turned in. And so I need to ensure that you're, ready and willing to show up and do the work, because things do not get successful. They are made successful. And I will do everything in my power to make this as easy, as simple, as seamless as possible for you. So if you are ready to show up and make this work for yourself, and you want to see how this works and like inside of this container with me and have me help you build your Skool community and build all of this out, you can just go to skool.com/Amanda for the 7-day free trial. So this is how you build a profitable education business from scratch, 0 to 40K using Skool without going bankrupt. One last thing is, like, you do not, if you're currently trading time for money, not in the form of one-on-one clients, if you're a waitress or a bartender or working for a salary job, like, you do not need to quit your job to do this. The thing about this is it does not really require so much time from you that you have to dedicate 8 hours a day. It just doesn't. You stay in your current job and your current thing that you're doing until you're absolutely positively 100% sure. That's the thing about when you're building a business from scratch this way, is like, you always know where you are. You always know what the next step is. You're never like, I don't know where I am. I don't know what to do. I don't know what's happening. Like, you always fucking know, and you can do it while you're doing something else. And that's my recommendation, because it's a hell of a lot of fucking pressure to put on yourself and to put on your spiritual gifts and business when it's the only thing paying the bills. You do not want to put yourself in a position where you're just like scrambling, willing to do anything for anybody if they just, come and say yes to your one-on-one coaching. You don't want that. You don't want those problems. And that's what the Enneagram allows you to do. So I hope you got something from this. Let me know what your favorite takeaway was. Did any of this make sense? And yeah, I look forward to working with you. Mwah.